To all you nerd Cleveland Browns fans that were like, man, we're not tanking the season. We traded our best player. Well, you didn't trade Josh Gordon now, did you? So you didn't trade your best player. But to all you Cleveland Browns fans that were crying, we got rid of a 2.6 yard to carry average running back, Trent Richardson, and you thought the season was over, guess again. Guess again. The Cleveland Browns, you see what a difference Josh Gordon makes. He makes everyone on that offense better. Jordan Cameron, 3 touchdowns. Brian Hoyer played fabulous in the first half. Second half, kind of shaky. But when the game was on the line, he came through and let him down for a drive with a minute left to seal the deal. The defense bottled up Adrian Peterson, even when it looked like he was going to get free in open space. There was safeties right behind him, corners, whatever came to get him. He had like 68 yards. He had like a 3.5 yards to carry average. He couldn't crack over 80 yards on us. Defense played exceptionally well. I thought they were putting some vicarious situations, but they came out and sealed the deal at the end of the game. Armando Bryant or Desmond Bryant with the sack on Christian no-legging or no-throwing Ponder. Christian Ponder did kill us by running for 2 touchdowns and a long first down, which he was unaccounted for. But I accept that we got the win. Well, I mean, all these Browns fans are like, well, we're going to trade everything away. You traded a 2.6. By the way, did anyone see Trent Richardson running in Indianapolis today? Did anyone see that? I mean, they had, what, a 2.5 yards per carry average on 13 carries? While Ahmad Bradshaw had like a 5.3 average on 95 fucking yards. It's like, when you watch Ahmad Bradshaw, and Trent Richardson, there's no mistaking who's in the game. One's fast, quick feet. The other one's got cement legs tied to his, or cement blocks tied to his feet. Trying to, woo. I mean, you've seen it. Colts fans, get used to it, because what you've seen just now is what you're getting for the rest of his career. Trust me. Thank God, good riddance. Jimmy Irsay, thank you very much for letting Joe Banner rip off his former employee who worked for him with the Eagles, ripping him off first-round draft pick. I thank God for any support every day. So, and it's still shocking. There's people that think that Trent Richardson's a good, viable back. I don't know. I watched him for a year and a half in Cleveland. We all know. But I thought the Browns played inspired football on the road. Now, granted, against the Vikings, but the Vikings are tough to beat at the Metrodome. They got Adrian Peterson. Like I said, the Browns defense came out for blood. They had him bottled up. It looks like this Browns defense is for real. It really does. If there's one weakness on the Browns defense, it's Buster Skrine and Chris Owens over on the opposite side of Hayden. However, our defensive front 7 makes up for it, and they kind of hide it because they get enough pressure on the quarterback. They can contain the run. They can stop the run. And they were basically Joe Hayden's one of them type corners. He's on, you don't want to throw his way. He's on, you can't throw on him. You might as well not even go after Joe Hayden. So you gonna pick on anybody, pick on Buster Skrine and Owens, but guess what? Our front 7's gonna get to you. They're gonna get you, they're gonna harass the fuck out of you and beat you up. So I know when the Browns fans are crying, the dumbass Browns fans that don't know anything about football, they don't know shit about football are crying. I was telling you, don't worry about it. There's a grand scheme and plan going on by Joseph Banner and Mike Lombardi. Now, I do want to say right now that I did hear Josh Gordon and Greg Little on the trading block. They're fielding offers for him. You see today, Joseph Banner, now granted Josh Gordon's 1 strike away from being suspended for a season. You seen today the value and the speed and the game that Josh Gordon plays and what he brings to the table. It's like Josh Gordon plays a different game than everybody else on that football field. He catches balls behind him. He catches balls over his head. He makes everything happen. He's fast, 6'3", 230 pounds, 4'4", 4'3" speed. You don't coach speed. You don't coach hands. Catches everything with his hands. He's an elite receiver. And right now at this juncture, you cannot trade him. That is our best player. You cannot trade Josh Gordon. Unless you're overwhelmed with something, which I don't see how you can with 1 year suspension looming. You can't trade him. He makes this offense click. And if you'd even trade him for anything less than a number 1, it's giving him away. So you can't trade him. Josh Gordon is a beast. In fact, I will tell you this right now. If Josh Gordon was on a team like the Patriots, anybody with a quarterback, he'd be known as the best receiver in the NFL right now. Because when you watch him play, he's playing a different game. He's playing a different game than the other receiver in the league right now. And you can see that. The guy just dominates. Jordan Cameron, 3 TDs today. 3 TDs. We have ourselves a tight end, who, by the way, played college basketball, collegiate basketball. I believe he was a collegiate basketball player converted into a tight end. A little trickery by the Browns and Rob Chudinski. Fake field goal. They go for it on 4th down instead of punting. They up to the up man. Chudinski is proving people that he don't give a fuck. He's going to go out there and play for it all. He's gonna win at all costs. Like I said, I got enough to see Brian Hoyer one more week or 2 or 3 weeks. It don't matter to me. First start in 2 years, I think he did well. Like I said, he won down the stretch. He won the game for us when it counted. Brandon Whedon, I think your time. No, I know your time's up. You're 30 years old in October. It's over. At least Hoyer shows that he can read NFL defense. Although in the second half he got a little shaky. He was getting a little shaky. Maybe some of the problem was maybe the receivers didn't run the right routes because, he's new, just coming into this offense. Had a lot of time to work together. That could have been a contributing factor. But overall, this team right now with this defense and Josh Gordon. Now, our running game didn't get on track. I didn't expect anything out of Willis McGahee. I mean, the guy hasn't played football since last October. He was out all training camp, didn't even go to a training camp, just had a knee injury. He didn't play at all for 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, whatever. So I didn't expect nothing out of him. But next week or the week after, I will be expecting something out of him. But Rainey got a little bit more average than Trent Richardson. He had like a 4.4 average rating. We didn't really have a running game today because we didn't really try to run the ball. We had Brian Hoyer had like 54 passes, which, in this NFL you can do that, but you still need a little bit of running game. You still need a little bit of running game. That will come with the couple more weeks in practice of Willis McGahee. So the Cleveland Browns, when no one gave them a chance to win, I told you they would win, and they did. And I can only surmise right now this Browns team next year with the 2 number 1 draft picks, the one that they stole off of the Colts. By the way, thank you very much, Jim Irsay. You're on Twitter bragging it up. Oh, it's great. It's not. Well, how's it look now? Because what you see today, listen, don't come out here and say he was tired or he's getting acclimated off. No. That's what you're going to get for the remainder of his career. That is the Trent Richardson that we got, and that is the Trent Richardson that you have. So I thank you for letting Joe Banner rip off your employee, who was a former employee of Joe Banner and the Eagles, for the first round draft pick. I'm glad we did it. Thank you, because we were going to unload him anyway. We would have took a third rounder for him. So overall, the Browns have the Bengals next week, which is a stiff challenge, tough task in Cleveland. Cincinnati has a tough defense. I'm not a believer in Andy Dalton. I believe our front seven is going to pose problems for him. But hopefully our offense can score on that defense, because they have a tough defense. And we're going to see what happens. But week 3, very pleased with what I've seen. Very pleased with what I've seen. Memo to the Vikings, you may want to think about drafting a quarterback because Christian Ponder, he's not the answer. I can see that. In a league, I can't underestimate. You cannot underestimate the value of a stud quarterback in this league. You can't. I mean, teams like Andrew Luck in Indianapolis is a beast. He's the best one that came out of last year's draft. Then I'd say Ryan Tannehill, and then I would say Russell Wilson, and RG3 will be out of the league in a year or 2. But I'm not even a firm believer in Russell Wilson, to be honest with you. I know he's good, but I think a year or 2 down the road he'll falter off. He's just short, and I'm not a believer in him. Maybe I'm wrong, but I know I'm right about Tannehill and Luck. And this is a 12:30. I don't even know time, but the Steelers get. Oh, by the way, the Steelers got shellacked tonight at home. 24-3 lead. They came back by fluke play and penalty. Whatever. The bottom line is the Steelers got embarrassed at home. If I'm the Steelers right now, I'm their fans. Listen, it's going to be a long season. It's going to be a long season. If you're a Steelers right now, fire Haley and start rebuilding, fire Tomlin, whatever. You need to rebuild. You need to stop prolonging the inevitable. Your team's old on the defensive side of the ball. Your guys are old. Jared Tall, 11. Offensive line needs rebuild. You may want to think about trading Roethlisberger for something. I mean, if we got a number 1 out of a first-round bust, you should be able to get a couple number 1s at least out of a fucking Hall of Fame fucking quarterback in Roethlisberger. You may want to think about trading him and rebuilding for the future. Because what I see on the Steelers right now, you guys need some talent. It's going to be a long year for people in Pittsburgh. I'm not saying the Browns are going to do anything, but it's going to be a long year if you're a Steelers fan. You need to rebuild. Bottom line is, you do this every 25, 30 years. You did it in the 80s. It's time to do it now. It's a little bit overdue. And you may want to think about getting a new coach because Mike Tomlin, let's face the facts, he's a secondary coach in over his head as a head coach. So bottom line, he's been living off Dick LeBeau's defensive reputation scheme for the last 4 or 5 years. So maybe it's time for you to think about getting a new coach and forget this Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin for 30 years because it's quite evident he's in over his head. He's a secondary coach, turned head coach, forced to be head coach, and he's in over his head. So if the Steelers are willing to trade Roethlisberger, I'll give you 2 first-round draft picks that we have this year, and I'll even throw one in for a 2015 draft to the Cleveland Browns. I will do that if I was a GM. I believe Roethlisberger got another 4 or 5 more years left in his quarterback in school. But the Browns, whatever. Browns need to get themselves a quarterback, obviously. Because, I mean, Hoyer would be a nice backup, but he's not the future. Oh, yeah! Anyway, I'm tired. I'm gonna upload this video, and that's it. That's it.